What's up, everybody? Week 10 in the books. We are the Well-Mannered Cartel. I'm Tom. I'm joined by Mike, Jose, new guy, and Chris. Let's get right into the action. This past week, it was, dude, we're still in the thick of it. Some teams are not in the thick of it anymore. Myself, the Fart Hounds, fell 140 to the Flint Tropics' 147. This was a rough one for me. I got goosed by TJ Hawkinson. He goosed
hard, bro. Goosed you hard.
It was the hardest goose of the season, dude. It all started Thursday night though with Lamar Jackson. Didn't have a great game. He got stopped. He got pummeled by Miami, dude. He couldn't do anything, man. And so he got me 16 points. Connor salvaged his game with a touchdown. He only had 15. Devontae Adams. That game was just rough. I had Devontae and DK both playing that game. DK got ejected and tried to come back into the huddle after being ejected, which is pretty wild.
It's double jeopardy, bro. You can't get ejected twice.
Double jeopardy.
True. That is true. But Justin Jefferson and Swift kept it close for me. But at the end of the day, I couldn't overcome Hawkinson's goose. You look at Flint Tropics. Dak Prescott had a good game, 30.3. Ezekiel Elliott, 19.76. Jacoby Myers, 14. Odell Beckham, 6.8. Noah Fant, 10.9. Kurt, 12.8. So,
yeah.
He didn't have any monster games from really anybody, but his team he did enough to beat the Fart Hounds. And
you also you got kind of hurt by your IDP too, 10.5 points compared to 25 points for his IDP. So
yeah, man. So
that's
rough. Rough one for me, man. That pretty much puts me out of playoff contention, I believe, unless I win out and a lot of other things happen. Probably not happening for me. So I'm gonna fight my way for that number one pick now, boys. The Fart Hounds 3-7. The Flint Tropics are now 6-4. The next game that we're looking at is over easy. One of the lowest scores in the league. 97 points. So it's 96.5. Vino Poppy, 192. Jose, talk about it, bro.
Yeah. I mean, same thing like for you with the Thursday night matchup was like a pretty good indicator, like, just to start the week off. She had Mike Gesicki, who surprisingly also like goosed her. That I definitely was not expecting. I was definitely expecting, Gesicki to even outscore.
Hey, well, let me say this though. So the difference between Gesicki's goose and Hawk's goose was Hawkinson got targeted one time, and it wasn't even really a target, dude. I was watching that game. The quarterback was trying to like get rid of it. Goff was just trying to like kind of get rid of it, and it went and got in Hawkinson's direction. So he really didn't get targeted that entire game.
Yeah.
But Gesicki had 7 targets, so that's a difference. Different class of goose.
Yeah. Hey, and I'm pretty sure if Haley ever sees Matt Ryan, it's on site.
It's on site.
Well, of course, the Matt Ryan thing, he had a terrible game. And then really, I mean, the biggest things here, I've been waiting for this all year, or definitely since, Mike and I made the trade with the Josh Allen and Diggs stack
all year,
was for this type of week to happen.
All my life
since last week.
I've been waiting for this, to happen since this, since I made that trade. But I mean, Diggs for 42 points, Josh Allen with 36. I mean, what more can you ask for? And surprisingly, because Devonta Smith has been kind of hot and cold, but fairly consistent in his targets. And then this game, it finally paid off. He went 4 for 6 receptions and 25 points. And 2 touchdowns, which was pretty solid. So.
Bro, it's crazy you roll out 2 tight ends like consistently, and like you're still putting up big ass numbers, like, you know what I mean?
Like, so my thing with that was, so before 3, so since 3 weeks ago, Dalton Schultz was the tight end 6 on the season. That was 3 weeks ago. In the past 3 weeks, Gallup came back, and that I'm trying to see, all right, is his Gallup being back really going to affect his targets? Which it clearly has. I tried it one more time this last week. I don't think I'm going to do it again until I see some uptick in production or play script or something. But that was essentially why, because if you go and you look back, there are
Yeah.
average numbers that, hey, for your flex spot, I'll take, 12, 15 points, all day.
Right.
And that's kind of what I struggled with this week. And, kind of, we'll talk about the matchups later on, but that's what I'm kind of a little bit, that's what I'm struggling with right now is my flex position. So.
Bro,
Yeah.
that Allen and Diggs stack, that's kind of what powered you through to the championship last season. I remember
Last year,
it was
yeah.
shades of 2020 for Jose over here because and you traded for both of those guys last year. And now I don't know, did you drafted Diggs, right? Or did you
I
trade for Diggs as
drafted
well?
Diggs, yeah, but
Okay. Had to
some of my
negotiate
soul
for
for
Allen. Hey, but I mean, hey, dude, but you're right. This is what this is what you envisioned, and you put up a big ass score in a week that was another low scoring week across the league. Your score was definitely the highest by a good margin, I think.
Yeah.
But
So this is over Easy's third loss on the year. She's 7-3. Major score for her. I mean, that was pretty bad. And then Vino Poppy moves on to 4-6. So Vino, you're staying alive, man.
barely.
Ain't alive.
Then the next matchup we're looking at is the Bad Hombres 155, the Bangkok Lady Boys 152.
Ooh.
Hey man, it ain't over till that fat lady croaks, bro.
Bro, dude,
so the fat lady chokes, bro. Damn.
Dude, it was a crazy fucking talk about choking. I almost choked the goddamn game away. I needed 14 points out of Matt Stafford and Matt Gay. And they fucking got 13 and like 13.7. So I needed a fucking stat correction to go my way, and a couple of them actually did. I got an extra 8 yards out of my tight end Dan Arnold, and then I got like another tackle for a loss for my IDP, and that kind of gave me the extra 3 points that I needed. But I had a stat erection after that stat correction, if you know what I'm saying, because it was gonna be a fucking dark week if I lost to the goddamn Ladyboys in that fashion.
I think
but yeah,
it's safe to say that if you need a stat correction and you're playing against either the Gridiron Throne or the Ladyboys, you're gonna be all right.
Yeah.
Hey man, I don't know. I don't know what they did to piss off God.
I was gonna say,
God was on my side this week.
I was gonna say, God said I'm the only team that loses by decimal points around here.
That's right.
Mike, didn't this happen last week in week 9, where if you would have like just picked any other defense, you would have won, I think, or maybe not last week, but whenever
It's happened a couple of times.
Yeah, it's happened.
Yeah, right. And like that,
I'm familiar. I'm familiar with the experience.
Yeah, just because I noticed the Browns had got you the -2, even without the stat, without the stat correction, just having a IDP a defense with just 0 points.
Yeah, just not filling the spot would have won me the week without the stat correction. Dude, it was crazy, man. There were so many close calls, like it was insane. Like he was down to like a 1 percentage point to win, and like everything broke his way. Like CeeDee Lamb missed his 10-point bonus by 6 yards, and Christian McCaffrey missed his 10-point bonus by 5 yards. Both of those dudes pretty much put up those scores. Like McCaffrey put up 29 points, and CeeDee Lamb put up like 26, I believe. 28, and that was just like one half of play for both of them, because they were both in blowouts and they both picked up like little injuries, and the coaches were just like, sit down, like we're winning by a fucking blowout, just fucking don't, let's not risk it. And so it was crazy, bro, how close they were to, like, it was close to being a freaking blowout, and I'm over here like praying for a stat correction for the win. It was a wild week.
Seeing that, dude. I remember seeing you way out ahead, and then it was just like you let him put just the tip in, bro, for like a day.
That's it, bro. Jonathan Taylor, bro, he was the tip, bro. Like he freaking kept him in the game. Jonathan Taylor's a fucking beast, dude. I mean, I know we fucking dogged him in the beginning of the year for taking him and shit, because Taylor got off to a slow start, but man, he's looking like the fucking #1 overall pick next year in redraft. That's what fucking Jonathan Taylor's looking like, for sure in Dynasty, but in redraft he might be the fucking 1-1 too. It's crazy, man. He's come alive, and he's fucking Mr. Consistency right now. Kyle Pitts luckily didn't have that big of a game for him. Only 13 points. That's what like a decent tight end gets you, not like what a difference maker tight end gets you right now. And so I bet you know, the Lady Boys are missing Calvin Ridley a little more than I am. At least last week, because Kyle Pitts hasn't really been himself. I feel like he was on a tear until Ridley had to leave, and now defenses are just focusing on him. So
yeah,
this was the talk.
But I mean, yeah, it was a close. Yeah, it was, man, and the shit was talked, and you know, and the hit came. It came a little later than expected, but it eventually came.
It wasn't that big of a hit, but it was a hit.
It was a slap. It was like a slap.
Yeah, a hit nonetheless. But yeah, dude, I mean, it's crazy, bro. Like I'm on this 5-win win streak, this 5-game win streak, and I feel like every week it's so stressful, dude. Like I'm just hanging on, bro. I'm just hanging on.
And hey, dude, I threw up last week.
I fucking threw up. I was losing sleep, man. I was so sick, losing the fucking boo. I didn't even watch the end of the game, bro. I just put my fucking phone down and knocked the fuck out in the second half of the Rams game because I was so upset. I was like, man, I'm gonna lose to this motherfucker. It's gonna be a Veterans Day week miracle for this dude. And luckily it didn't happen, but I mean, hats off to him. And he's still, I mean, you know, he's definitely still in it. He's 5-5. You know, so it's not like he's out of it or anything like that. But it was you know, he beat me last year. I'm glad I got him back this year, and we can look forward to next year or maybe the playoff shit. We'll see what happens.
For sure, man. So Bet Hombres is now 6-4 on that 5-game win streak. It's crazy, man. You started out pretty poor and turned it around. It's great.
Turned it around.
Yeah, the Lady Boys are 5-5. So seems about right.
Seems about right.
The next game we're looking at is Culon Santo Falls 137 to Dem Lions 179. This one wasn't close, boys. Not close.
Yeah, and he wasn't feeling good last week about it, and his feelings turned out to be correct.
So Culon started. He started 5-0, didn't he?
Yeah. He was slinging around.
4-0. It was either 4-0 or 5-0.
I think it was 4-0.
And then he started to drop a couple games. So he's 2-4 since his 4-0 start. So he's reeling a little bit, but yeah, man, you know what it is, man. And I hope this. Just scroll down to the IDP, dude. I mean, the fucking another pretty much 60-point performance from an IDP, Jose, on the week that you come back. It's fitting that there's a pretty much a 60-point IDP performance, and you know that's hard to overcome, man. And it's, I mean, I know that we've agreed to do it next season to kind of look into the IDP scoring and kind of bring that down a little bit.
We might take out IDPs from the league entirely, man.
No, don't do that. I don't want to do that. Let's just half the scoring. You know what I mean? Let's just half the scoring. But yeah, dude, because I'd hate for the championship to be decided
by
a 60-point IDP performance.
Yeah, bro.
You know what I mean? Because like,
if you get 60 from a quarterback, like that's rare enough. But to get 60 to get 60 from an IDP, that's nuts.
It feels like it feels a little
it feels naughty. It feels a little naughty.
It's a little cheap, bro. You know what I mean? You're like, oh man. And that's because I have a good IDP, bro. I have a badass IDP, so
for an IDP to hit like that, man, it's just kind of luck of the draw, man. Because you can't really be like, this dude's gonna get 20 tackles in this. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way to kind of like gauge that, right?
Yeah, it's so lucky. It's so lucky. So like, it's not. There's like very little strategy involved in that. You just gotta hit right, and every now and then an IDP goes for fucking 60 and just blows up a week. I mean. Luckily, I think them Lions would have won anyway because it was such a blowout. You know what I mean? Like any average IDP score would have done it for him anyway. But like, imagine if it was like a close game and like an IDP scored 60 for a dude and he wins by like 5 or 10 points, and you're like, damn, like that dude should have lost.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But yeah, it's crazy that them Lions is rolling with Wentz, dude. I mean, maybe he'll change his mind after this 7-point performance, but he seemed pretty adamant about rolling with Carson Wentz, and I mean. Who might have questioned them Lions, but I mean, I think he might be.
But it's Carson fucking Wentz, man.
But it's Carson fucking Wentz, dude. I mean,
he's good until he isn't, bro. He's good until he isn't.
This Aaron Jones deal for them Lions too. Aaron Jones going down, only getting them 12 points, and then like with the way that Aaron Jones' schedule works out, he's got a bye week coming up in like 2 weeks. So it looks like maybe they might just wait for him to come back after the bye. So he's looking at not having Aaron Jones for maybe 3 games, dude. And this is like the crucial time in the season where we're trying to get playoffs and seedings and stuff. So it's a tough time to get an injury like that.
Let's look at Kelsey too, man. Remember, a lot of people were like, "Oh, yeah, I skunked him on the trade, man. Look, Kelsey scored 30 this week, and I got goosed."
Yeah,
true, man.
I don't want to have Kelsey on my squad.
Yeah, this is 2 back-to-back weeks where Kelsey puts up decent score. I mean, more than decent, 17 points and then 29 points. Those are great weeks for a tight end.
We talked about it. We're like, Kelsey's not going to stay down forever. Dem Lines is making a move now, and if Dem Lines had back on his squad, I would have lost.
Yeah, and then for the Culon Santo, he got goosed by Gage, which is tough. And then Cordero Patterson for him got hurt. That's another running back injury. So, and then obviously Teddy Bridgewater only getting him 10 points because Kyler Murray's been banged up. So
I think that one was the most surprising to me was Bridgewater, because the Eagles are allowing, I think, the second or third most like passing yards in the entire league. So that one I was just, because like if you notice too, like Marlon and I like made like it was kind of like a really small trade for like Lawrence and Bridgewater and stuff like that. And I'm sure he saw, if you looked, if you listen to a couple of different like podcasts and stuff like that, they're talking about how awesome this matchup was for Bridgewater.
Yeah.
And so I was expecting like some, 30 points, you know what I mean? Yeah. Or something like that. And it just did not happen. So that was out of all the, the different things, I think that was like most surprising.
For sure.
I don't know if I would ever like, place a whole bunch of faith in Bridgewater, no matter who he's facing. He's not a bad quarterback, but it's just like, if I'm not, feeling good.
If you look at our waivers, bro, I mean, would you blame him?
No.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, I would never like think Bridgewater was going to get an automatic 30 though, like I'm not like,
it was just, bro, I was hoping too, bro, because fucking Dem Lines is in our division. I was like, man, fucking, I really hope he gets a decent score and he pulls one over Dem Lines, because that would obviously be better for for me.
But so Dem Lines moves up to 6-4. Culon Santo 6-4 also. But Culon's division is getting a little tight. Next matchup we're looking at is the Muff Fighters 111, the Gridiron Throne 144. Mike, is that 2 in a row, dude?
2 in a row. Don't want to get on a hot streak.
Yeah. Damn, he's streaking.
Yeah. Hey, so last week I picked myself to win, but I was not super confident about it because I had some injuries and some buys that were a little concerning to me. But hey, I got the win. Somewhat low scoring, but Keenan Allen was 2 yards away from the bonus, and Deebo Samuel was 3 yards away from the bonus, so could have very easily had 20 more points on my score. And I'm still alive in the division. Our division has ended up pretty close. It's pretty unlikely that I could win it, only because of the fact that we're going into the divisional games, and I would have to win all 3 of them, and then because it's the divisional games, that means Vu would have to beat Marlon, and Marlon would have to beat Flint, and Flint would have to beat Vu. Like, it would just have to work out that way mathematically. Yeah. So it's pretty unlikely, but I mean, hey, anything can happen.
Bro, it's still in Deebo got 33 points without a bonus, bro. Yeah. Fucking Deebo went off, man. It's crazy. 33 goddamn points and no bonus. That's hard to do. Apparently he's a running back. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was getting rushing yards, bro.
Dude, he's been doing that for the past 2 weeks.
Those CD passes, man.
Yeah, those CD passes. That's right. Oh man, and then let's see who else performed well for Tom Brady with a low average game, bro. 18 points for Tom Brady. That's disappointing.
2 picks, so that made a difference. It's 6 points right there.
Coming off a bye, right?
I think so.
Yeah. So they lost the game. Lost the game, went on bye, lost the game, bro. That's crazy for Tom Brady. I don't think that's ever happened to him.
Yeah.
And then dude, on the Muff side, he hasn't won a game since Saquon's been out. I know we said it last week, but It sucks, dude. 5 losses in a row for the Muff. I mean, I don't know if he's been on a run this shitty in his fantasy career, but this is definitely a low point for him. Started off 4-1. Now he's 4-6. It sucks, man. He could not overcome.
So unreal,
bro. Hey, dude,
this is a new low for the Muff.
It is. I don't think
it was funny. I thought it was pretty backs and Jose just laughing at him.
That's like
bro, it's just like,
dude.
No, like it wasn't like it wasn't like, oh, this must suck. He's like, man, this is a new fucking low for this guy.
Bro, I better not. I bet you're the fucking guy that laughs at a funeral, bro. I get this fucking just some sad shit going on, and it's just Jose's cracking up in the background.
Yeah. Jose was like, this is not being, facetious in any way, dude. Like he was just like, and then Jose was over here cracking up. God damn. Yeah.
Dude, this guy's fucking elbowing the fuck out of him.
Yeah.
He's already dead. Oh, fuck.
Hey, so I'm the only team at the bottom of the division who still has a chance.
There we go.
I'm not dead yet.
You can hang your head.
I'm not dead yet.
Yeah, we'll see, Mike. You got the lowest points and scored in the league.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, fucking shit.
Man,
it has been rough for Muff Vipers. Like you said, he's down to 4-6. Man, did he start 4-0 or 3-0 or 3-1?
He was 4-1, and then
he was hot.
Yeah, now he's fucking 4-6. That's tough. But he's getting Saquon back, so we'll see, man. Maybe he'll start fucking putting some dubs together. Now that Saquon's back on the squad, because I think he's supposed to play this week, so we'll see what happens for him.
Yeah. All right. Next matchup is I'm sorry, Gridiron Throne goes to 4-6, and Muff Vipers are also 4-6. So hey, Mike, this can, like you said, you're not out of it yet, and this could be a tiebreaker if Muff Vipers can get it together. Golden Dragons 4-6. They scored 132 points against the Chimps 184, who are now 5-5. The Chimps had been struggling for a few weeks. He was part of that trade. Oh, we haven't talked about that trade. We probably have to talk about that trade. But he was part of that huge trade with the 4-team trade. The orgy of a trade.
The orgy of a trade.
Yeah, good luck explaining that one, man. The Chimps, though, the bounce back fucking shit slingers of the week, bro. 183 after scoring like 100 points less the week before. What a fucking comeback for him, man. Patrick Mahomes with 66 points. That will do it.
Yeah.
Are the fucking Chiefs back right before they play the goddamn Cowboys? Golly.
And they might be. Against
the Raiders. 400 yards, 5 touchdowns, 66 points. I mean, what else can you say, man? Dalvin Cook with 20. The Raiders. Dalvin Cook with 20.8. Part of that trade that Tom's going to talk about later. And then Mark Andrews, 18 points from your tight end. Que más quieres, bro?
Yeah.
Shit. The Packers with 17 points too on his defense, his DST.
He had a defense
with 12,
on his bench who scored 20 points. He had the Dolphins against you weren't going to do that, right? You weren't going to start the Dolphins against the Ravens.
The goddamn Dolphins. That's crazy.
Yeah. But man, Mahomes and Cook, dude. That's all he needed. We look at Golden Dragons, man. Aaron Rodgers with an 11.4. He was part of that stinker of a game between the Packers and the Seahawks. It was supposed to be a high-scoring game, but it was anything but. Then Najee Harris had a very good game again, 27. And then everybody else for the Dragons kind of let him down. His IDP had 31.5, but Dawson Knox came back from injury, only had 2.7. And Peoples-Jones only had 2.6, and Chips with the Mahomes scoring 66, it's going to be tough to overcome that if you guys got guys scoring that low.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. AJ Brown, I don't know if he got banged up, but 3.3 points, uncharacteristic for him. I think I don't know. I don't think it was like I don't remember him getting injured, but I don't think Lattimore shadowed him either. So it might have just been a stinker of a game for him. But when you see that score, you like want an explanation. But sometimes fucking players just have bad weeks, man. It looks like that's what happened with AJ Brown.
He's had a couple of stinkers, man.
That's true. I mean,
he's had more than a couple actually. Week 2, he had a 7-point game, and then he had a 0.3 game in week 3. Might have gotten injured. And then week 5, he had 6.8. So he's had a few bad ones.
Yeah, I think he was a little banged up at the beginning of the year, but it looked like he kind of was back into like the groove of things. But then now he's kind of like, like you said, kind of like stinking a little bit again. So it's like it makes you wonder what the fuck's going on. But yeah, anyway, you'd
figure with Derrick Henry being out that would mean the opposite, right? You get more targets, more points,
right?
But hasn't been the case yet. So let's have a look at the standings, guys. The Earth Division, Dem Lions is 6-4, 14 points scored. The Chimps at 5-5, 41 points scored. Vino Poppy 4-6, 05 points scored. And the Fart Hounds 3-7, 1575 points scored. So close division, man, overall. Fart Hounds, myself, probably out of it. But I'm just looking to ruin people's aspirations right now, Jose. But yeah, Jose's only 2 games. The Chimps are 1 game back, and Dem Lions is on top. So very, very close division. The Win Division, Over Easy sits atop that one, 7-3, 1673 points scored. Then the Bad Hombres, 6-4 on that 5-game winning streak, 1611 points scored. The Golden Dragons, second loss in a row, 4-6. He has 1632 points scored. And then the Muff Vipers are also 4-6. He's on a 5-game losing streak, 1544 points scored. So again, close division in terms of, Chris, and you're only a game back from Haley now. You're only a game back from Over Easy, which was if you would have told you that fucking 4 weeks ago, you would have called me a fucking liar, Chris.
Yeah, man. I've been like 2 games behind her all season. She finally dropped the game. And when I was on my 4-game winning streak, so was she. She won 4 in a row, but she dropped one. So I got a game on her, but yeah, man, I don't know. She doesn't drop many, so I'm glad I got to capitalize at least on that one and make it a little closer here going down the stretch.
Yeah, and we're going right into the division game. So if you're gonna catch her,
let's see.
The Fire Division, crazy, man. Flint Tropics was in 3rd place last week. He's 1st place now after beating me. He's 6-4, 1680 points scored. Then Culon Santo falls from that top spot. He's 6-4 as well, 1619 points scored. And then the Bangkok Ladyboys, 5-5, 1700 points scored. And the Gridiron Throne at 4-6, 1537 points scored. So again, this is another close division. Mike, you're 2 games back from the top spot. Ladyboys are down a spot, and then Flint and Culon Santo are both at 6-4. So everything's to play for going into the divisions right now. It's just super, super tight. And so with that said, let's kind of look at the playoff picture right now. You have Hales Bales Over Easy with a bye, and Dem Lions with a bye currently. You would have Culon Santo versus the Bad Hombres, and then you would have the Ladyboys versus Flint Tropics. So that's what the playoffs would look like right now, but everyone's in contention except for I. And so it's good, man. I mean, this is not going to be the picture next week, and it's going to not be the picture in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. It's going to continuously change until the end of the year. Exciting stuff. Chris's Corner.
Let's do it. We're going to start with the who the fuck is that guy? And let me tell you, this week it was kind of hard to find one because not a lot of unknowns put up big numbers, but I was able to find one guy from the tight end position, the tight end for the Broncos. His first name's Albert, and his last name is Okwagbunam. Okwagbunam? Albert O is what they call him. If you ever heard Albert O, it's the tight end for the Broncos. 3 catches, 77 yards, 11.7 points. Not a huge week, but 11 points from a tight end position.
Yeah.
And the guy with that last name, who the fuck is that?
Not a huge week, but a career week for him.
Career week for him. He had like 167-yard fucking catch and run. It was pretty fucking awesome. So yeah, Albert O, tight end for the Broncos. The squander this week, we're gonna have to go with our buddy, our pal, the Lady Boys. We just talked about the matchup that he had with myself. Lost by 3 points due to a stat correction. But if he would have started, I know it was tough because he was up against Tampa, but if he would have started Antonio Gibson in the flex over any one of his flex players, he would have won the week because Antonio Gibson actually woke up and had a decent freaking game, running back for the football team, who shocked the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and actually pulled out a win against them. So Antonio Gibson in the flex would have won it for the Lady Boys. The bed shitters this week, there were so many. We've already talked about a couple. Let's just get the fucking geese out of the way. We got TJ Hawkinson with the fucking goose, Mike Gesicki with the goose, Russell Gage with the goose. All those guys were started. All those guys were started by someone in the division or somebody in the league, and it cost them dearly. But the biggest shitter, I mean, Matt Ryan against the Cowboys. I mean, that's we talked about it a little bit last week. We thought there's no way Matt Ryan doesn't have a big game. I mean, he got hot. He was playing well. He was playing well. He was going up against the Cowboys, who, the defense was looking a little shaky. And I really think the Cordero Patterson injury early in that game really, really fucked with him, because Cordero Patterson has been all over the Falcons offense pretty much this season. And so negative 1.32 points from Matt Ryan. And we suggested that over easy start Matt Ryan. I don't think she gives a fuck about what we say, but we suggested that she start Matt Ryan because Russell Wilson.
I told Russell Wilson, and it wouldn't have helped much. It wouldn't have helped much.
It wouldn't have helped. Yeah. Because our call was, look, man, Russell's coming off of this injury, and it's his fucking throwing hand. And I just saw Dak Prescott come back and look like shit after coming back off of an injury, because he didn't get to practice much. And same thing with Aaron Rodgers. He didn't get to practice much because of COVID, and he looked rusty. So it's like, I'd rather play the guy that has a better matchup, who probably doesn't have as much. Obviously doesn't have as much talent as Russell Wilson. Yeah. But just a better matchup, and it was just a terrible, terrible fucking performance from Matt Ryan.
Didn't make much of a difference, but it would have got her to triple digits.
Right. I'm glad it didn't cost her. It didn't cost her.
I think I would trust an armless Russell Wilson over Matt Ryan.
I mean, dude, he scored 40 points the week before and then and against a good team. And I think he was going up against a tough defense.
Miracles happen, dude.
All the time. The no talent pussy of the week, over easy, 96.58 points. The second lowest score of the season so far, only behind the Chimps. Again, another low scoring week, man. We had the first 8 weeks, we had somebody at least in the 200s every single week. And this is the second week in a row that no team breaks over 200 points. Is it because, you know what they say?
The season's dragging on,
It gets a little colder, and then the fucking point total starts to come down a little bit because it's harder to fucking, play football in the fucking cold, I guess. I don't know. But I wonder if we're not going to see as many high-scoring games going forward, or if this is just a fluke. But 96.5 points from over easy. Definitely a shocking scoreline for her. Jose, don't laugh. We're just going to pour them out. We're going to pour them out for two people real quick. Aaron Jones has a mild MCL sprain, expected to be out at least 1 to 2 weeks. The only problem is that on the third week, let's say he's out for 2 weeks, the third week's a bye. They might as well hold him out until after the bye week, ease him back in, and just use AJ Dillon. So I don't think we see Aaron Jones until the fucking playoffs, man. So that's going to be our playoffs, fantasy football playoffs. It's going to be rough for them Lions, but I'm sure he'll figure it out, and Aaron Jones will be there for him week 1 of the playoffs. And then Cordero Patterson actually missed Thursday's game. It's Thursday right now. The game's going on. He was ruled out with an ankle injury. Very vague. They most articles that I was reading, they were just calling it an ankle injury. They weren't committing, actually saying what kind of a sprain it was. One article said it was a high ankle sprain, but it's weird that they're kind of keeping it under wraps. They're just calling it an ankle injury. If it is a high ankle sprain, though, that's bad news. We know that's at least a couple of weeks. So We'll see when we'll see Cordero Patterson back. Maybe next week, maybe fucking 3 weeks from now. We'll figure it out. Maybe next year. And the big cock on the big cock on the block. Fucking
Is that because it's me or what, bro?
Poppy. It's because you're half black, bro. Vino Poppy, 191.8 points.
God damn, bro.
Holy shit. What a score, dude. Tell us about it. How do you feel?
Crazy to pull it over easy, but I mean, it was had a lot of good things going for me.
Well said.
It's diplomatic.
All right.
We get into those last trades that went down before the deadline. Obviously, there was a monstrosity of a trade.
Yes, let me pull up my graph.
So let's talk about how it all started.
Let me pull up my graph.
Yeah, we had to like write this down some crazy way so we all.
Yeah,
bro, let me just
who sent out the feeler? Who sent out the feeler?
Jose did. So Jose was trying to trade the Chimps. He wanted
surprising.
Chase Claypool and who? Just Chase Claypool?
I wanted Claypool and I wanted a couple different players, but Claypool's who I wanted from your brother, Adrian.
And yeah, so Jose calls me. Jose calls me and he's like, "Hey man, your brother hasn't responded." And I was like, he's like, "What do you think about this trade?" And I was like, "It sounds okay. Let me see what he's thinking." Probably just like he's in, California, so he's 2 hours away. I know it's deadline day, so let me call him or whatever. And then I called him and he didn't answer. And then Jose and I started talking again, and I don't know how the wheels just kind of started turning. I was like, well, I like Swift, and we just kind of devised it with I gave Jose Javonte Williams. Jose was going to give Adrian Dalvin Cook, and I mean, just talking about it is so confusing already, right? But the main thing is I gave up Javonte Williams, a 2nd round pick, a 5th round pick, and Will Fuller, and I got DeAndre Swift in a 3rd round pick. Hales Bales was the 3rd party, the 4th party involved. Over easy, she was needed to be able to supplement Jose. She was the one that Jose was like, "I'll only make this trade if I can, get a receiver back." And I was like, "Well, who do you want to bring in?" And he was like, "Well, I like Brandon Ayuk." And so he was in my living room by chance. And I was like, "Hey, what do you think about being a part of this trade?" She's like, "It sounds crazy." And I was like, "Just take a look at it." She's like, "Fine, I'll do it." And she talked about a few different players for Jose, but she only, she got Corey Davis and the Saints defense, playoff defense, and the 5th round pick, and she gave up Brandon Ayuk. And Jose got Brandon Ayuk, Chase Claypool, and Javonte Williams. Gave up Dalvin Cook, Cortland Sutton, Corey Davis, the Saints defense,
and a 2nd round
2022 3rd round pick, and a 2022 2nd round pick.
And all this shit went down Saturday night, the night of the deadline.
Yeah, so the Chimps got Will Fuller, Cortland Sutton, Dalvin Cook, a 2022 2nd round pick, and a 2023 2nd round pick. He gave up DeAndre Swift and Chase Claypool. So you guys can go ahead and look at that trade. But essentially, it was just, we had to kind of sit down and talk about it. I sent it over to Chimps afterward. I was like, "Hey, what if we did a 3-team trade?" He's like, "That sounds crazy. I'm down." And then the more we kept on talking about it, it just started becoming more and more convoluted. And then Jose was going to be missing a whole bunch of players, so we needed somebody else. That's why we brought Haley in, and it was just a clusterfuck. But I think we made a trade to where everyone feels satisfied with the deal, right? I mean,
definitely.
I got. I don't want to get rid of Javonte Williams, but I did because I got DeAndre Swift, who's a young running back. And the Chimps, Adrian was wanting to compete now, and he felt Dalvin Cook was going to help him out, and obviously that was the case. I don't know what Jose was thinking. He lost a whole bunch of pieces and gained a whole bunch of pieces. But how about you guys from an outside perspective? How do you guys? What do you guys see? I mean, we were like, we're going to blow everybody's minds with this trade.
One last thing on there too. Also, how Haley kind of got back in there was like, I was looking at my week 11 matchups, and even though Javonte is good and we think he's going to come, he's going to grow more and more into his role, He was going to be out this week, right? And then also, since I was getting Claypool, even though I like him, he has a bad quarterback, and it just so happened he also has that toe injury right now. So also was going to have him this week. And so we were just kind of looking at different people's rosters and like, who else do we want to get a part of this trade? And I was just like, I kind of like, the main thing also was like, man, I lost Debo, and like, he's amazing. I think we were just talking about like, he's like a really good wide receiver. And I was like, you may or may not be able to come into at least like a second, like a solid, like wide receiver 2 position for them. And then, so that's how we mentioned Hales.
Yeah.
Tom, kind of just did the rest from there.
Yeah. I think like for the Chimps, he gets, a top running back right now, and he also gets 2 twos. So that's big for him too. I obviously, gave up 2 players in the pick, and I got DeAndre Swift, who's like a great prospect, but he's, part of the Lions team. He's a workhorse there. But yeah, I mean, what are you guys' thoughts as an outsider?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty. I mean, it's pretty close. All the way across. I mean, you're never going to get a perfectly even trade, right? I mean, you can work towards that, but obviously, it's not going to always work out that way. Someone's always got to lose at least a little bit. If I was the Fornicators, I mean, I get he wants to like compete now, but it's kind of hard to make that Dalvin Cook trade with everything that we've heard about, what might be coming down the pipeline as far as the legal matters. Yeah. But if he's just thinking about this year, then I mean, I guess that's the route that he wanted to go, right? I think that he could have probably got at least 1 first-round pick instead of the 2 second-round picks. That might have been a better deal for him. Because I just don't see, but this is just me. Like, I don't see myself letting Swift go without getting at least like a first-round pick back and something on top of it. You know what I mean?
Well, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Oh no, that's all I'm saying. Like, it's really the only thing that I would like nitpick if I had to say something would be like, the Fornicators. If I was him, I would have like wanted like a first-round pick. You know what I mean? At least one, because I could see. Swift is probably like, I mean, yeah, I know it's a little dicey as far as like the team that he's on because it's not that great of an offense, but like we know that, there's some good running backs performing on shitty teams. Like that happens. I mean, yeah, their upside isn't as high as if they would be on a great team, but like, we see like, Robinson, Jose on the Jags, terrible team, but that dude consistently puts up pretty badass numbers. Mm-hmm. And so like, it's one of those things where if I was him, I would have wanted a first-round pick. But if he's cool with 2 seconds and Dalvin Cook, and then the rest is kind of a little, it's kind of fluff. I mean, good on him, dude. If he was okay with that, but I would have expected like at least a first-round back pick for Swift, because I just think Swift is that good of a player. You know what I mean? Like that's where I would categorize him. But
I think what might have helped because like I think Tom and I were already talking about this trade. I think maybe like a day or 2 before. And I was like, I don't know.
It all happened in one day, dude.
Really? Well, maybe we're talking earlier. No. But remember, we're talking earlier during the day, right? And then I was just like, you know what? Your brother didn't text me back or whatever about the trade, but maybe it's good because I started reading a lot more into the news and stuff like that. I was like, you know what? It looks like Cook's gonna make out because this chick has a history and yada yada yada. And so I was just like, you know what, maybe it's for the better. Maybe I will have Cook for for at least another year or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it just so happened he responded and was sort of interested. I guess he looked into it too and kind of became a little bit more and more okay. I don't know if he knows this too, but Sutton's on a 1-year contract. So this is his next year. And Sutton, if you remember last year for the 2020 season, that's how he got a couple of wins. Sutton was his like wide receiver number 1. Because he was putting up like some really good points last year. And so I think that might have enticed him to, at least the name value with him might have enticed him to.
Yeah.
And then obviously, the 2 second-round picks, and if Sutton goes to a better team next year, I mean, he could really, be making out with this, with this too.
Yeah, I really think at the end of the day, I mean, I like Swift, but Tom, it's kind of tough that you letting go of Javonte. I know you like Javonte, and it's just right now it's kind of frustrating the role that he's in. But I can see Javonte breaking out next year, and it's gonna be close to see who like out of him and Swift who actually ends up becoming the better running back. You know what I mean? So it's like I don't know. I felt like if I were you, I might have just stuck it out with Javonte if you weren't like in a win now mode. You know what I mean? Just to see what happens.
Well,
but
you're
trading for
right?
Swift, who's more proven. Yeah.
Before the trade, I was still in it, and I figured, safer bet right now. Like I can still, I can still make the playoffs. And so obviously that was before last week.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of thinking long term and short term. Like I didn't want to get rid of Javonte. Like he's going to be a beast.
Right.
Once Melvin Gordon is gone, he's the man. He's going to be a top 5 back. Like we know that. But for me, it was like, well, I can make a run right now. I feel good about my team. I got past the really important buys. Swift can be that injection that can kind of get me over the hump. Didn't work out that way, but I still got a young running back that's very, very talented is the way I saw it.
Yeah, and like for you, Jose, I'm looking at your squad, man. And if Javonte becomes who he's supposed to be, I mean, your squad's gonna look pretty scary, man, going forward. I think he could be one of those like core pieces of a team that you just hang on to, and he's like, nah, bro, I'm not trading this guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like going forward, he might be one of the guys. That was also
why I kind of like, I was just like, you know what, like I do want to do this. And then I was like, I told you, it was really just like on the whole Cook news was really why I was just like, let's see if I can, kind of trade high on his name and his performance. He hasn't been amazing, but he's, I think, the running back 3 or 4, I think, on the year. Right. And so that's enough to maybe get someone interested. And so,
and I know Chimps was like, dude, I've been losing. He's like, I want to change it up, bro. And he did that.
Yeah.
You got to win.
Yeah.
He got to win. And Swift, I think for Tom, right. He won him because he's talented, and he put up 25 points or something like that last week.
Yeah.
Pretty decent.
So he performed, but whatever.
Yeah.
And so that was that trade, crazy trade. We talked about it a lot right now. I think there was like another trade probably involving Jose, or another 2 trades involving Jose. Jose's addicted to trading. He has a problem.
Got a problem, man.
I think he traded for Trevor Lawrence. We run through that one real quick, and then we'll kind of move on.
Yeah, I mean, really quickly, I was just, dude, every week, man, I'm just going through different things. I'm like, what would this look like if this piece was in my team? I just saw, I was really, I mentioned this earlier. I was really, really focused on Coulon and Dem Lines because I really needed him to lose, because that would obviously make playoff odds for me better. You know what I mean? And so I was really focused, on this. I actually really thought Bridgewater was going, like I mentioned, even though it's Bridgewater, I still thought he was going to perform a lot better because, of what the Eagles' performance has been like. But I just kind of hit him up randomly. I was just say, hey, would you by any chance be interested? Because Lawrence hasn't been doing anything, is it? All year, even though he's the overall first-round pick. But I just kind of threw out feelers, see if he was even interested at all. He was, kind of interested. And I think what really kind of did him in and where he felt a lot more comfortable is just kind of throwing in that extra pick in the future. So I have like almost no picks, at least for the next year. But, at doing the extra pick and the quarterback to help him get this win, because he obviously wanted to win too. And so that was really it. It was pretty simple.
Yeah, sure, man. So let's get into this week's game, week 11. But first off, let's have a look at our predictions. Jose, you're still not on here yet. You'll be on here next week because your 3rd show. That's
all good.
That's you're solid there.
Earned your graphic.
You're earned your graphic. So I need a picture of you in a tie, please. So Tom's at myself 46%. Chris is at 50%. Mike is at 54%. And Marlon is at 48%. So I'm losing on and off the field, boys. And then so Marlon was the leader last week. Now it's Mike at 54%. So congrats, Mike.
Yeah, I won the week last week, I guess. The picks.
So let's look at this week's games. Week 11. First one on top, and I'm just usually have this written out, but this is just how they appear on my phone. The Fart Hounds are 3-7 versus Vino Poppy 4-6.
This is going to be a close one.
Myself, Jose, I'll let you talk about it first.
I'll be honest with you, man. I'm confident in my roster, with the exception, and there's a big exception, is my flex spots. Right now, man, if you notice, I have Ty Johnson and I have Brandon Ayuk. Brandon Ayuk is the 2 and he's just so hot and cold, man. Ty Johnson hasn't been doing too much in terms of rushing attempts, but he has been getting a consistent number of targets. In the last 4 weeks, he has 7, 6, 3, and then 8. But if you just saw the news today, Joe Flacco is the new quarterback. And so I have no idea what that's going to do for Ty Johnson. So that could completely go in Tom's favor. But I think this is going to be a really good week for both of us. But I'll tell you right now, man, it's going to come down, I think, to, at least for me, I think it's going to come down to my flexes because, I mean, look at Tom's fucking squad, bro. He's fucking Lamar Jackson, Swift, Adams, Justin Jefferson, Hawkinson. I don't think he's going to goose him this week. That was a fluke. Metcalf, and then James Conner, who is the running back.
I'm the worst team in the league.
This week seems really hard to. This week seems really hard to predict. Like, I think it's going to be close either way, but it's almost like a flip of a coin. But I think Tom, I'm picking you this week. I think I'm interested to see how Lamar Jackson does with the Bears, and I don't see Metcalf having another subpar week. I think he's going to be a difference maker in the game this week.
He doesn't get ejected.
Yeah.
Man, Jose, have you what do you think about Jarvis now that Beckham's out though? I know he's like a little banged up. He's questionable.
Nothing, man. I trust numbers, man. I'll go through and at least do like a 3-week or 4-week moving average based on his targets and his actual receptions, man. And dude, I mean, like look at week 8. He has 10 targets, 5 receptions, and he's 65 yards. Like, he just hasn't been doing anything all season. And then apparently this week he walked off. He had some, like, I was not going to start him this week regardless, but then it just so happened he also apparently didn't attend practice or something like that. I don't know, a shin ankle. I don't even know what it is, but either way I was going to start him. But no, see, that's another thing too. It was supposed to be a lot better with
a lot of that has to do with Baker also, right? He's not throwing the ball.
True. True. But
they're a running team. Dude.
Wait, Jose, did you pick yourself this week?
I haven't made a pick yet.
Oh, you didn't make a pick. Okay.
So, and then what about your boy? What about your boy Bobby Wags, dude? I know he got you 60. Are you gonna start him as your IDP or what?
I still haven't decided on my IDP yet. I may start him only because I can see Arizona.
Yeah, I think that's
running a little bit more.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's the only reason why I might start Bobby Wagner versus Cincinnati. They don't really, besides Joe Mixon, like, it's kind of
They've got a better they got a better obviously like passing attack than Arizona does if Kyler Murray is out.
Exactly. It's also Kyler Murray and it's Hopkins that just so happen to be out, right? So you know what I mean. So that's also why I'm assuming they're gonna have to go with the ground game.
So more tackles for your linebacker.
Yeah,
definitely makes sense, dude. Yeah, I mean, it's so weird because I always feel like I mean, I'm gonna go with the Fart Hounds just because it's hard when you see the names that are on your squad right now. The squad totally that you put together, Tom, is pretty scary. But like it's crazy because I feel like you're always the highest score going into the week, and then your team just fucking has been letting you down. You know what I mean? Like when you look at the projections, Tom's always like 178 or like he's up there as far as the projections, and then we fucking and then the boys go out and play, and then they let you down, and then Jose's dudes has been overperforming. Like, like the Vino Poppies have been fucking playing, punching above their weight. So I mean, I could totally see it going the other way, but it's hard to pick against Swift and Adams and Jefferson and Hawkinson and Metcalf and Lamar Jackson. Like when you see that,
they don't call
it's hard to pick.
Not the stinky pumps for no reason, man.
Don't call them the stinky pumps for no reason, but my fucking 50% accuracy be damned. I'm gonna have to go with the stinky pups, even though they've let me down before.
Hey, man. Dude, I'm going to pick myself because I'm going to keep Jose out of the playoffs, dude.
Shit,
Jose. You lose this week, Jose. You're pretty much donezo's, man. So you gotta pray, light some candles or something, man, because, I mean, we'll see what Lamar can do. You know, if Lamar has a big game, that's just kind of how I've been doing this year, man. If Lamar has a good game, then I do well. If Lamar has a subpar game, I don't do well, even though I look at my squad and I'm very proud of the squad that I have assembled. But Chris is right. They have let me down time and time again.
Yeah.
So if Lamar can get it done against Chicago, then Vino's going down.
Yeah.
Let me just say this before Jose makes his pick. I remember the squad well that won Jose the championship just last year, and Josh Allen was on it, James Robinson was on it, Stephon Diggs was on it, and Darren Waller was on it.
Yeah.
And they're all fucking playing this week, so do not be shocked. Do not be shocked if the Poppies pull it out. But go ahead, Jose.
DK and Justin Jefferson were on that squad too, right?
That's true, and they're on your team. They're on your side now, so they're all playing.
Lastly, look, I mean, I just spoke to the weight that all those names he has on his roster carry, but I'm trying to get into this. I'm trying to get into fucking playoffs. That means I have to beat you, so I have to go with myself. I might be very reluctant next week, but I will tell you, if that happens, right, if Tom pulls one over, it's going to be because either my flexes just didn't perform to par, because those are really long shots on my flexes, and then the Diggs and Josh Allen stack maybe just didn't pan out how I'm hoping it really will. And lastly,
but what if all of those guys play well, but all of my guys play well? If all of my guys play well, I like my team better.
No, I agree. If all, but
you're just saying,
I need two people. I need two people to play well.
Flexes. Put some respect on my name, bro. Okay, that's enough.
Yeah.
We got them all in. I'm hungry. Let's get this rolling. The second matchup we're looking at is a big one. Probably the biggest rivalry in the league.
Matchup of the week.
Overeasy versus the Bad Hombres. Overeasy at 7-3, Bad Hombres 6-4, and a 5.
Playoff implications here.
Huge playoff implications. Tiebreaker. Everything. This game is huge. Chris, talk about it.
It is. Overeasy. I mean, I know it did. I'm not going to downplay how big this game is, because it really is. But in order for me to overtake Overeasy, she got the first one over me at the beginning of the season. And so if I beat her this week, then our point totals come into play, and she's got a pretty healthy lead, about a 70-point lead, I think, over me as far as points scored. So I'm going to have to outscore her by 70 this week in order to get that first place all in this 1 week. But we do have 3 weeks left to play, so maybe I can outscore her over the next 3 weeks. But I'm looking at our squads, man, and I mean it's close. I mean, Stafford is out; he's on a bye for me this week, but I'm kind of happy that he's on a bye, because he's coming off of two stinkers, and I traded for Tannehill last week. I gave a 3rd-round pick away because that Tannehill matchup against Houston, I wanted that. I think he's going to perform well. I heard this stat this week today actually on my way to the gym. Tannehill has scored 12 touchdowns against Houston in his last 4 starts. So as long as he can get somewhere near 3 touchdowns this week, that's all, 21 points, I'll take it. McCaffrey against Washington, McCaffrey, I think he's a monster, man. He just gets all the receptions, gets a bunch of yardage on the ground as well. So I'm expecting him to have a big game. And then I'm hoping that Cowboys game against the Chiefs is going to be a shootout. So CeeDee Lamb, I think it's safe to say he's the Cowboys' #1 wide receiver now, and Amari Cooper's kind of taking the step down, the second wide receiver there for the Cowboys. And then who knows, man? Maybe Cam Newton coming back would be a good thing for DJ Moore, and that he gets out of this little funk that he's in, because he started off the year really, really hot, and then he's kind of cooled off here the last few weeks. But it's hard when I'm looking at Overeasy's squad, and I think Russell Wilson. I think his finger's fine. I just think it was a little rusty last week. And then the Arizona matchup, their defense is a little tough, but the Seahawks are reeling, dude, and they need to start winning. So I think Russell Wilson senses that urgency, and I think he's gonna step up and have a good game. Tyreek Hill against Dallas, obviously. I think it's just gonna come down to that matchup with Tyreek and Diggs. See if Diggs can contain him at all. It's gonna be interesting to see. But I think Tyreek Hill, I think he's gonna have a big game against Dallas. And then the big question mark is Nick Chubb, man. Is he gonna clear COVID? I think he's vaccinated, so it's a little easier for vaccinated players to come back.
He should play this week.
So he should play this week. So we'll see. And that'll be a big boost for her. And then Godwin's a little questionable, but I think he's gonna play, and he's got the Giants. So it's fucking close, man. It's been, even the projections are 50-50. So I'm gonna have to pick myself, dude. I've won 5 in a fucking row. I've always picked over easy. I've always picked over easy these last few weeks because she's been on a roll, but she finally dropped the game. Maybe it's the start of a trend. We'll see.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna have to go with myself, man. I'm gonna pick myself for the win this week.
This week is, this matchup is really close, and honestly, I'm reluctant to pick you, Chris, because you're on a five game winning streak, and I don't see that extending
it's
to
gotta
6.
End, right?
It's gotta end. It's gotta end. But
hey, I knew it'd end this week.
But just looking at the rosters,
so fuck it.
Yeah, just looking at the rosters, I think you're gonna inch her out just a bit. I think you're gonna get the win this week.
I'm going with Chris, man. Russell Wilson against the Cardinals, man.
Cardinals.
They're I think the number 2 defense on the year. The whole Chubb thing, I even though he's like vaccinated thing in terms of his having the 2 negative results will go better in his direction just because he's already vaccinated. But if you look at some of the recent news on him, he's actually like feeling sick from it. So he might not play just because
wow.
Yeah. So so we might not know if just because he's like actually like he just doesn't.
Or maybe they'll like ease him. Maybe they'll ease him in or something, right? Maybe
give him like a light load or something.
50, yeah, from your mouth to God's ears, bro. We'll see what.
But honestly, so the Chubb thing, I think, and the Russell Wilson thing, man.
I think we swept Haley over easy once.
Don't do it.
And that was like probably one of my biggest failures as a husband. Also our anniversary week, so I got to pick her, man.
Solid reasoning.
I think
say less, bro.
And Nick Chubb plays against the Lions, so
Oh yeah.
I feel like if he's feeling normal at all, he's going to be just fine. So I'm picking over easy on that one. I gave you my reasons. The next matchup is Culon Santos 6-4 versus the Gridiron Throne 4-6. Big divisional matchup. Mike, if you lose, you're out pretty much.
Yeah. Every game from here on out is a must win for me. So damn, I'm picking myself, bro. I made a little bit of a mistake by not taking Damian Harris out. I was intending to take him out, but it's not turning out terribly for me. So hopefully that doesn't, fuck me in the end. But I don't really have much reasoning to pick myself other than I have to. So I'm picking myself this week.
Let's see, man. I'm looking. I know Kamara for something. I think he's kind of, he's got high hopes. Murray in the starting lineup. I don't know if Murray's gonna play this week, especially because I think they're on a bye next week, so it doesn't make sense to bring him back.
Mm-hmm.
Might as well sit Murray. And then Kamara, he's got that little bit of a knee issue. I don't think he's practiced much this week. So he's questionable to play against Philly. He's got Sanders in his lineup right now against the Colts. Sanders has been a little shaky these last couple of weeks, and so is Amari Cooper, even though he does have a good matchup against the Chiefs. But and right now he's not. I don't know. He doesn't have anybody in his flex spot, so he's still kind of debating what to do. But Deebo Samuel against Jacksonville and Joe Mixon against the Raiders for you, Mike, is huge. And then Brady against the Giants. I think Brady's gonna have a bounce back game against the Giants. So those 3 matchups right there, I think are gonna pull it out for you, man. And unfortunately, I think it's gonna be 3 L's in a row for Culon Santo at the worst possible time. Yeah, roll them L's. So I'm gonna have to go with. Hey, this is the first time I'm not rolling with Santo, man.
Yeah, your Cowboys voice.
I feel my Cowboy brother, man, but it makes it a little easier that he's not here to judge me. I guess. So I'm gonna have to go with you, Mike.
I think it's gonna be close, but I agree with Chris. I don't think Murray's gonna play, and I think that's kind of Marlins season. He's riding on Murray. Doesn't have him, he's gonna lose. Yep. Is that?
I'm with you too, man.
God damn, bro. I think this is the first time. I think this is my first sweep of the season.
I really don't think Murray's gonna play, and I mean, just with the whole Kamara news and the fact he still hasn't figured out what he's gonna do with his flex spot, man. It just does not look, doesn't look good for him.
Bro, if you have Emmanuel Sanders as a starter and you still have a flex spot open, you might be fucked. You might be fucked because Emmanuel Sanders has not been that good.
Yep.
So
the next matchup we're looking at is that was a sweep. The next matchup we're looking at is Dem Lions 6-4, the Chimps 5-5, huge divisional match.
Damn, dude, this is a big one.
Bro, you kind of have to go with the Lions here, man. They've just been.
You got Mahomes against Dallas, though, dude.
Actually, yeah, you're probably right.
Oh my God.
You know what? And also, he has a couple players on bye right now. That he needs to make some adjustments on his roster. So actually, you know what? Looking at the roster, I think I'm gonna have to go with the Chimps.
Dude, the only thing about the Chimps is that he doesn't have a lot of pivots in his roster at the moment. I feel like Will Fuller's on IR, Hopkins is banged up.
Yeah, he's got more.
I don't know.
He could have put in Hunter Henry, but I mean Hunter Henry's not scoring too high right now. So
yeah, I'm gonna have to go with them Lions, man. It's gonna be rough because I think if you look at his squad too, I mean it's not like he's he's got any
Jones.
He lost Jones. Cooper Kupp's on bye. I mean, I just think that I don't know, man. I mean, yeah, it might just all be Patrick Mahomes on the Chimp side. But damn, Jamal Williams, holy shit.
Yeah. No, I really think this will be one of them Lions fluky losses. They probably shouldn't have lost, but they lost.
No, I don't know, man. I'm looking at it again. It's hard because let me look at their benches.
I'm going Chimps, man. I'm gonna go Mahomes, Cook, and McLaurin are gonna pull it out for the Chimps.
And Mark Andrews. Yep, you're right. Chimps.
Jose?
My mind has been changed. Chimps.
And let's roll.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna go with them Chimps. He does have Pollard, at least one of his good flexes, but then I don't know who else is gonna put in for a second one. But yeah, that nice little 3-stack is pretty solid.
It should be Dem Chimps versus Los Lions, dude. They should just change.
What did I say?
You said Dem Chimps, bro.
It should change. Versus Los Lions.
All right, what's the next matchup?
Next matchup, boys. Make these quick, short on time.
Hey, if he wins this week, bro, he will be Dem Chimps, bro.
Yeah. All right. The next matchup is the Muff Vipers 4-6, Golden Dragons 4-6. Supposed to be close.
Both these teams are on downward trajectories recently, but I think Muff Vipers gets on track.
Me too. If he gets Saquon back, he wins.
Yeah, he gets Saquon back. And Herbert, I think Herbert will have a good game. He's been having some mediocre games. I think he'll bounce back.
You might have to throw it a lot against Pitt. Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Muff Vipers too. I think some of Golden Dragons wins have been a little bit fluky and kind of written on the back of Najee Harris, and I just unfortunately don't think that's going to be enough to pull it over Muff Vipers. With Jamar Chase, Lockett, Cook, and Evans on his on his roster. I just don't think it's going to
remind you that Muff Vipers is on a 5-game L streak.
I know, man, but
it's tough.
Streak's got to end.
But Barkley's back.
Yeah, Barkley is back. It's like, man, if that Aaron Jones injury would have happened, I'd go with the Muff Vipers, but the Golden Dragons have AJ Dillon, and I am a big believer in AJ Dillon, and I think that offense is going to look better now that Rodgers is going to have a full week of practice under his belt. So the combo of Najee and AJ Dillon, and then he's got Austin Eckler on a tough matchup against Pittsburgh. But I mean, Austin Eckler and Najee Harris, those are two like great PPR running backs or great running backs, period, that you want to have on your squad. The fact that he's going to have 3 running backs that could end up that are top 10 running backs for sure, but could end up, top 8, top 7 running backs on the week. That's a huge bonus for the Dragons. So I know the Muff Vipers getting Barkley back, and he looked great when Barkley was at full strength earlier this year. But Barkley's going to come back off of an injury. I think they're going to take it easy on him, and he's playing Tampa. So I don't think Barkley's going to be Barkley, at least not this week, probably next week. So with that being said, I'm going to have to go with the Dragons, as much as I hate it because he's in my division, but so is the Muff Vipers. But the Dragons have actually been outscoring the Vipers. So I fear the Dragons a little more than the Vipers. So I'd want the Dragons to take the L, but I think, unfortunately for me, they're going to pull it out this week and make the division even tighter.
Hey man, those Vipers are venomous in the division though.
That's true. That's true. I think he did go 2-1 in the division, I think, right?
So there we go. So almost a sweep. That's called the 3 quarters. And the last matchup we're looking at is the Flint Tropics, who are 6-4 versus the Lady Boys for 5-5. Huge matchup. I mean, if the Lady Boys lose this one, it doesn't look good for them because that division is super tight. I'm not saying it's a hole he can't come out of, but that does a world of good for Flint Tropics if he wins.
Yeah, man. Well, again, we're recording on Thursday, so we're recording during the Thursday night football game, and it's not looking good for the Lady Boy starters.
Yeah, but he's been here before.
Is this mess up the cheating?
Kyle Armpits.
Stinky. Yeah, man. Kyle Pitts again. Who misses Calvin Ridley more, me or the fucking Lady Boys? I think it's the Lady Boys.
Too soon. Did someone open their mouth a little too early?
Maybe just a little too soon because Kyle Pitts has crashed back down to earth with only 5 points, and then his boy, his kin, juicing him right now. Come on, bro.
There's 2 minutes. 2 minutes left in the game, and I don't think he's going to get any points from this.
Probably not. And then if you look at the other side, Flint started the Patriots, dude. Yep. 18 points from your DST. That is a hell of a fucking score for a DST.
DST score, man.
I'm going to go. And Chris, you're going to love this. I'm going Flint Tropics because Dak Prescott and Elliott are playing the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm going with because of that.
Yep, I'm gonna have to go with Flint as well because I think Dak is going to outscore Burrow, and I think Taylor and Taylor against Buffalo, a very tough defense, and then Zeke against Kansas City. I still think Taylor's going to outscore Zeke, but I think Zeke is going to keep it close just because Taylor does have that tough matchup. So.
Yeah, we were talking about Taylor just kind of going wild these last few weeks, but he's had some pretty easy matchups. This is a different animal in Buffalo's D, so. I don't think he's going to have – I think he might have a solid – I don't think he's going to have one of those monster games. Not like he did against Jacksonville.
Right, right. So, yeah, man. Put me down for the Tropics.
Yeah.
Quick for me as well.
I mentioned earlier, I need to win out in the division, but I also need, like, specific things to happen, which is, like, I need Vu to beat Flint. I need Flint to beat Marlon, and then I need Marlon to beat Vu. Unfortunately, I don't see that happening. I think Flint's going to get the win, and it's going to seal the deal on my season, at least for the division. I might still be in it for a wild card. I don't know. I have to kind of do the analysis on it. But
if you win out, you'll get a wild card spot, dude. Like
yeah,
if you win next, well, never mind. I don't know.
I don't know. I have to do the analysis on it, but
if you win out, It's not like 100% certain, but I think
it's still possible. But yeah, I think Flint is gonna seal the deal on ending my divisional hopes this week. So I'm going with Flint this week.
It's a sweep against the Lady Boys.
We
swept them.
Yeah.
All right, boys. I am tired and I'm hungry. It's really late. We never really recorded this late.
Yeah.
I haven't eaten, so I'm starving. So we'll catch you guys next week. Good luck to everybody. Some people might get knocked out of playoff contention. Some people might feel a lot better about their playoff, aspirations after this week. So we'll see you guys. Good luck. We'll see y'all next week.
All right. Later.
Peace.